How do you handle the dreaded, I want to think it over? This is a killer, right? In sales and in relationships, and selling is a courtship. All right. Make no mistake about it. Hearing no can suck, right? Hurt your little feelings. She's not going to go to the prom, homecoming with you. Hearing yes is great. But those maybes, those stalls, those shunts, as Anthony Pernella would say, living in limbo, it's no way to live. And so, and I've always said, hearing no early is a win. You can remove it from your pipeline, deal, closed, lost, decision, why, no money, no viability, whatever. At least you can clear it off your pipeline, take it off your projections, and buckle down and go prospect some more. So hearing these think it overs, it's we have to understand really what the hell is going on. And the reality is prospects don't trust us. Prospects don't trust us because we don't trust ourselves. In all of my training, when it's live, I'll ask people, when I say the word salesman, salesperson, what comes to mind? What word? And I'll have people, they'll say some things. And, depending on the crowd, sometimes there's the optimist. Oh, professional, generous, industrious. I'm like, come on. And they're like, greedy, commission, pushy. And I'm like, yes, pushy. I'll write it down on a separate card and show them. And so we know that that's the impression that people have of salespeople. And we're like, oh, but we're different. I don't want to be pushy. I don't want to come across as pushy. And now we welcome these objections into our lives. Whatever objection you're getting all the time, it's one that you personally consider viable. It's one that you give yourself. And because it's normal and rational and logical to you, you accept it from the prospect. Now, that being said, I don't think the old school, Ben Franklin close and all these different things work as well today as they used to with the internet and social media and Google reviews. Literally today, I had asked a question on Facebook just a few days ago about a certain thing, and a very influential individual, friend of mine, hopped on the thread and said, hey, as a matter of fact, I got stiffed by a company on this thread that's saying how good they are. He says they're about to get a $5,000 chargeback. Oh. So with the way we are so connected today, it's hard to be pushy and be successful in the long run. So I will give you a couple of ways to handle the I want to think it overs, but I want to unpack this so you don't get those. So I'm recording this on a Wednesday. On Monday, I was at jiu-jitsu. I was rolling with a big dude. He's a big brand new white belt, and like literally a month or two. And he was asking about. He was basically getting an I want to think it over. He's trying to do an armbar submission, and they're not working. And the problem is, so he was asking ways to finish. And I'm like, the way to finish is to end up in a better position so the finish is easy. And so many sales coaches, trainers, you'll see, they'll say, focus on the close. 80% of your effort should be on the close. That's where the money is made. That's like saying, focus 80% of your effort on the armbar. That's where the money is made. And the reality is, we talk about position before submission. There's so many little things you can do and need to do. If you're fighting a peer, right? If you're fighting somebody, same weight class, same age, same belt level, you're not going to just overpower them. You're not going to use the Ben Franklin close and tap them out. So there's so many. So I showed him, in about 30 seconds to a minute, how to work on his position, how to get the guy turned over a little bit, how to put a foot under his back, his leg over the throat it was too much space. It wasn't tight. He wasn't hugging the arm with his whole body. He was falling back and trying to crank on it like a lever or like a slot machine. And so when I showed him the different setups, oh, the actual finish is easy. But everybody, again, wants to focus on the close. You need to focus on the open. You need to be disqualifying prospects. Not everybody is ready, willing, and able to buy from you right now, this moment. Now, a lot of them will say they are not, and they are. So we have to get to the truth. If you're in a complex environment, and look, I sold retail for a year and a half, roughly, back in 98, 99, sold mobile homes. In my first year, sold exactly 52 trailers, made exactly $100,000, 98 to 99. It's like $175,000 today. I was like number 26 in the company out of 2,000. And they promoted me after like 14 months, gave me my own store. So I was in this traditional environment where, alternative choice, tie downs, think it overs. I didn't get these objections. All right. And I was 28 years old, brand new, right out of the Air Force. So why wasn't I getting those objections? Why did I sell so much? Because I disqualified the prospects back then when our trailers were locked. So people had to come into the office. Hey, your trailers are locked. Yeah, we know. Can we look at them? Happy to show you around. I need you to come in first. I ain't coming in. Fine. I ain't showing you trailers. A little tit for tat, a little quid pro quo. I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine. And why you locked your trailers? Say, look, the things are full of gear, right? Microwaves, stoves, refrigerators, TVs, surround sound. Furniture, some of them. Like, these things get robbed. We don't leave them open. It helps us ensure, keep theft down, keep damage down, keeps our prices down. Would you like to come in? Okay, fine. And we would bring them in, and we had a little sheet. Hey, what's going on? What are you looking for? Where are you now? What's driving this decision, right? So sometimes it was maybe an insurance claim. Others were, this was in South Alabama. They were buying cash. They needed a little trailer, for a hunting cabin. Maybe, in-laws, putting them on their property. People getting married, whatever. So I said, okay, that's understandable. Congratulations. Thanks for coming in. How'd you find us? Some little chit chat. So then we started asking them about their money situation. And that's when I first learned how many people have bankruptcies and terrible credit in this country, but I digress. When those situations would come up, if they had really bad credit, say, look, I'd love to show you some homes, but based on my experience, and you're telling me you have nothing down, or you have $1,000 down, whatever, they're not going to qualify you, and the payments would be too high anyway, based on what you're telling me where you need the payments. So, why don't we have some steps we can help you with your credit. Why don't we work on that before we walk through this heat, and walk through these trailers. So we were disqualifying prospects because, look, I was paid on commission. We were paid a draw against commission. So if I wasn't selling, I wasn't making enough money to put food on the table. So I had to only work with people that were buying. So we had to disqualify. So now when I find the qualified people, now I'm making small talk. Hey, what's going on? How'd you find us? You ever owned a mobile home before? Tell me about your property. Do you have a trailer out there already? This is a little hunting cabin. Oh, you're replacing an old one. You just bought the property. That sounds cool. And I'm just being nice to them and listening, not pushy. But I would ask them, what's your time frame for this? Well, if we find something we like, we can buy it right away. Okay. Or it's like, hey, it's an insurance claim. We're going to find what we want. We're expecting money to come in 30 days, 60 days, whatever. Okay. I'm not closing those people hard. Oh, Wes, maybe they're lying to you. Yeah, maybe. But if you get good at opening, if you get good at connecting people, they want to know, like, and trust you. You have to prove yourself worthy of being known, liked, and trusted. Okay, so how you engage like that really matters. And then if you get good at just wanting to serve the people you're there to sell, oh, well, you're just a salesperson, you're just making money. Okay, look, maybe. But I guarantee you, there are people probably still living in the trailers that I sold 25 years ago. And I have spent that commission check way before 25 years ago. So your customers are going to benefit, assuming you're selling something good, moral, ethical, honest, right, effective. So your customers are going to benefit from the product or service that you sell way after you spend the commission that you earned on it. But again, Zig Ziglar pounded this in my head. I was listening to him for years. You can get whatever you want if you help enough people get what they want. So in an ideal world, David Sandler, you can't teach a kid to ride a bike at a seminar. He would talk about setting agendas, having a mutually agreed upon agenda before you ever meet. I call it close first, then present. It's not always possible. The buyers now are savvier. Just last week, I'm working with a tech client. The CEO invited an agency to come in and give a presentation. Their technology looked interesting. But the kid opened terribly. But it was the traditional. It was kind of cookie cutter, kind of formulaic from an old David Sandler. Hey, thank you for meeting. I'm going to have some questions for you. Then I can, and if it makes sense, I can show you some things. So, but first I want to open with what's going on in your business. How are you? And it was too formulaic. It was too lazy, really, on his part. We have to change a little bit how we set these things up, because the CEO, who's a very laid back, very nice guy, Canadian. I mean, just the prototypical Canadian, polite, very calm, prototypical technician, right? Super smart. He's been in tech for decades. Very analytical, very, a steady relator, compliant, just methodical. You can't really get a rise out of him, but it kind of irritated him. He's like, hey, no, that's not. No, I don't want to do that way. I was kind of surprised. So what this kid should have done is do a little bit of research and say, hey, I looked into you. I see, 20 something years. I see your footprint around the world. I see some of the companies you're working with. These are some big clients. I see an emphasis in healthcare. I see an emphasis in banking and financial services. Are you wanting to go deeper into those? Are you wanting to expand in those? Or you want to get into other verticals? Tell me, is that kind of what you're looking at? Just by indicating a little bit of knowledge ahead of time, right? You've done a little bit of homework. They start to trust you a little bit. They start to open up a little bit. All of this helps with I want to think it over. Okay. Now, before this guy even set this appointment, so he's using his own technology to get some appointments. When we agreed to meet, he should have been disqualifying us then. Hey, thanks for accepting this meeting. Thanks for accepting my offer. How this typically operates is, we do a demo. I ask you some questions. I answer some questions, show you how things work. We go over pricing. If everything is to your liking, how do you typically proceed? Do you have a team? Do you have a board of directors? Do you have an advisor, tax advisor, other types of folks that come in? Or is this your own decision? Should your marketing team be on it? Blah, blah, blah. So is this something like a decision you would make right away? Or does it take a little time before you implement something like this? I want to know ahead of time how they move forward. So now we can have a relaxed meeting. If he says, hey, I'm a very analytical type, and again, looking at his background, you would know with certainty his buying style just from doing a little bit of research. But then you can go in, relax, and say, hey, I'm just here to help you make an informed decision. I understand it's going to take you several days to a week or so, and you may have some questions afterwards. So I'll send the presentation to you. I'll send you some talking points, send you some things to consider. We'll cover the pricing. And then, within 3 days to the next week, you can let me know yes or no. All right. Everybody relaxes. And to tell you the truth, his pricing was super affordable. We could have said yes right then and there. And I'm telling the client to say yes. But his opening was so bad, we said we're going to think it over. Not because the technology is bad. He has a great risk reversal. He has a great guarantee. It's almost unbelievable. And that, honestly, that might be hindering us a little bit too. It's like, how's the kid doing this? But at the end of the day, it's not that much money for what we're doing. But he opened so poorly, he invited the I want to think it over. So you see what I'm getting at? Other guys will talk about, the Columbo close. If you ever watch Columbo, you may have to go back and look. He was this disheveled detective, and he was always fumbling, missing his glasses or pen or his notebook, and had to borrow something. And he was very humble. Oh yes, thank you very much, thank you. Oh, I'm sorry to bother you. Yeah, and he would turn to leave, and you'd see the suspect, the guilty, murderer, kind of had this sigh of relief, or look at their cohort in crime, and he'd turn around, and as he reached for the door, he'd stop and turn around. Just one more thing that I forgot. So he'd let their guard come down, and he'd turn around and catch them off guard. A lot of sales trainers, they'll try to teach this kind of stuff. How to, just to clarify my thinking, what is it exactly that you were going to go over in your mind? Is it the pricing? Is it the warranty? Is it the features, the functions? Okay, that kind of does work to a degree, but we're not actors. And like I said, deep down, most salespeople, we feel like the profession is pushy. We don't want to be pushy. We don't want to be inauthentic. We don't want to be not opaque, right? Non-transparent. So this acting, it just doesn't come naturally. Yes, it does work. Yes, it can work. I'm just not big into acting. I'd rather ask some hard questions up front. Oh, not a fit? Great. Have a good day. Or, should I follow up with you later? You think anything's going to change? Can I keep you on my mailing list? I'll send you a newsletter, blah, blah. Nope. Okay, fine. Have a good day. Next. Some will, some won't. So what? Someone's waiting. Get after it. Okay. So, but if you had a good deal or a good interaction, and somebody does surprisingly tell you, I want to think it over. If you're truly confused, right? If it's truly just because that's just what they do, or if it's not a fit and they're trying to be nice, address it head on. And I used to say this in the setup, and I still will. My business has changed in how people come to me, but in working with my clients, again, going back to the disqualification, if I'm setting that agenda ahead of time, if I'm closing first, then presenting, you could drop in a little line, say, look, we're going to have a 20-minute call. I'll answer your questions. I'll do a quick demo, get your take on this. And look, and at the end, you say yes or no. And, if you want to say, I want to think it over, I'm just going to take that as you being polite. You don't want to say no to my face, or you don't want me to, start doing some Ben Franklin close and alternative choice close and tie downs. So I'll just take that as a no. If you say I want to think it over, I'll just take it as a no. Fair enough? Okay. So when they come back with, I want to think it over, say, can we be honest? Are you just trying to be nice? You don't want to hurt my feelings? Because look, here's the deal. You say you want to think it over, and I take that at face value. And a day from now, a week from now, a month from now, I'm still following up with you. You're cringing every time you see my phone number come up on your caller ID. You're rolling your eyes and sighing every time you see my follow-up email come in your inbox. I don't want to be a pest. So when you say I want to think it over, is it a no? Because that's okay. Yeah, I'd love it to be a yes, but hey, you can't win them all. Is this a no? You'll get the truth. Yeah, it's just, you know what? Now they start talking. Yeah, it's just, oh man, I kind of like this, I kind of like that. This doesn't feel right. They'll start opening up. And maybe you missed something. Maybe they misunderstood something. And you can simply, again, speak the truth, explain things and go, oh my gosh, I misunderstood that. I'm so glad. You know what? Yeah, I think this can work. Or it's like, yeah, man, I shouldn't have even taken the meeting. Or you'll find out that they lied. I need to think it over. Why is that? I thought you said this was your decision to make. Then you've got to figure out how hard you want to press. All right. But at least you're getting to the truth. Because like I said in the beginning, No is fine. Yes is fine. I want to think it over. Maybe. Limbo, not fine. So work on your setup. Work on your disqualification. Work on getting to know your prospect. Understand their needs. Understand their problems better than they do. Because the reality is, if they understood exactly how bad things were for them and the ramifications, they would have been calling you. But because they don't, our job in sales is hurt and rescue. We've got to bubble up an issue, hold it in their face and say, look at these test results. Here's your blood work. Your levels are bad. Figure that out. Okay. Put that in front of them, make them face it. In order to do that, you've got to know people, you've got to know the industry, you've got to know your product. That's all the setup, like I was talking about with the armbar. When every part of the setup is done correctly, the submission, the close is easy. Okay, hope that helped. If you have questions, you want me to expand on something, I'm doing this first thing in the morning. Had a little bit of coffee, but happy to go into more detail. Just let me know. I'll go sell something.